I've been told many times that hunting half-dollar boxes for silver is a waste of time. Stay tuned to find out why I disagree with that. Hey there everybody, welcome back to another video from Jazz Studios. In today's video, we are going to debunk the myth that hunting half-dollar boxes for silver isn't worth it, because in my opinion, it really is. So while we do hunt primarily for silver, there's a lot of other things that we tend to find in our hunts, whether it be NIFCs, whether it be proofs, but there's also some specialty things that come up into this. So hold tight. Yes, there's a silver right there, a silver ender. That will be coming up in my next live stream. But hold tight just a second. I'm going to arrange some things here, and we're going to go through some of the things that I have found along my way in this journey hunting through half-dollar boxes with you. So stay tuned. Let me get this swapped around. Okay, everybody, I've got some things rearranged here, and I've pulled out some things that we have found over the past 6 months. Those of you that have been joining me with my half-dollar hunts on my live streams and so forth may recognize some of these. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take all of these, look underneath the scope, have an idea of what it is that we were able to find. Now, keep in mind, every single one of these that you see on this mat, I have personally found except for one of these, and that one is right here. And I'll explain this one when we get to it. But this one was actually found in a coin roll hunt for me for rolls that I had donated through Truckin' for Silver. So that is the only one out of all of these that I personally did not find. So let's go ahead and get our coin scope pulled up here. And we're going to start, I'm just going to work from left to right. I've got these somewhat organized. And let's see what we have here. So the first thing that we have, both of these were found on the same night. And what this is a 19, and let me try and get rid of some of that glare. Hopefully we can do that without creating too much problem. But what we ended up having, I ended up finding both of these in the same box. That is giving me a fit with that glare from the flips. My apologies. But as you can see, there is quite a large die crack going through the T in Liberty. So that's very, very clear there. Quite long. And then in that same box, we have that same die crack, but at an earlier stage. You can see it starting on the left of the T and not coming through yet. So at a later stage, this one was done where that die crack ended up going all the way through. So I thought that was really cool of how we found both of those in the same box and how I can't believe that they didn't come from the same die based upon the information that I see there. So that was pretty cool. 2 die cracks from the same die in the same box at different stages of that die crack. And then we have this 1971D DDO FS 101. This is actually something that I just found today. And we're going to get zoomed in a little bit better on this so that we can see it. And you can see on the T, there is a split in the serifs right there on that left-hand side. And the right-hand side is a little difficult to see, but it is there very briefly. But you can definitely see it on the left-hand side of the T. And then in the word trust, you can see the doubling with the layer in the R, the leg of the R, and the split serifs in the T at the last T, as well as the split on the 1, and definitely the S and the U. So this was actually my first true double die obverse that I have found, and this was just found today. So next, and this happened to be one of my very, very first boxes that I ever hunted. Move this camera back out. And I didn't realize how special it was until after I got into it a little bit. But we ended up finding a 1970 proof $50. And this, like I said, this is one of the very, very first boxes. It was probably the third or fourth box that I hunted. And I really didn't know that the 70s were low mintage at the time. Was still learning. So, and this one's in pretty daggone good condition overall. Got nice crisp lettering. Got a couple of marks inside there. I believe that's just on the back of the cellophane flip. But nonetheless, a really cool find based upon the quantities available of that. So next we have a bicentennial silver proof. This was found a few weeks ago. And you can see that S mint mark, and is definitely not a clad $50, but a true silver proof bicentennial. And outside of the $50 that we tend to find on a regular basis, we also end up finding things like tokens. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. So this was a token that I found recently in a $50 hunt. We also have a Balboa from Panama and some foreign coins. These Balboas are fairly common. I probably found 3 or 4 of these overall. This one happens to be from 2013. And it's in pretty good shape. And then we have that mystical magic coins that we all love to hear as we're going through our coins. Excuse me. This one was a 71D, which was made from a centavos, a 20 centavos from 1973. And you can see the hollowing out of the back of the coin. So we've got magic coins. And then my second one, which I just found this past week. This past week has been quite interesting for finds, that's for sure. We've got this 95 that, again, is hollowed out on the back. But on the back side of the reverse, I didn't find a coin that it was made from, and it was actually hollowed out again, creating an actual pocket inside the magic coin. So I thought that was really cool. So we've got 2 magic coins found so far. And they, from what I understand, go for $10 or so. But we also get into just some neat coins. They may not have a whole lot of value, but they're just neat to find. This was one of the older coins that I found. And this is a half sol. From 1935, from the Republic of Peru. And this was silver. I believe it was, excuse me, 92%. But there's another cool find. And then we get into Queen Elizabeth II. And this was a 2-cent piece from 1958. From the British Caribbean territories of the Eastern Group. 1958, 2-cent piece. Again, with Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and her crown. And then we have this was, I'm trying to remember, I should have done a little bit more research on this. This is from 1915, and I believe this was a 1 penny. Yes, 1 penny. So you can see the wear and but a very cool find nonetheless, even though it's in pretty rough condition. But the thing's 105 years old, so I can't complain too much. And then the coin that I was telling you about that I personally did not find, but was technically mine because it was in rolls that I had donated for through Truckin' for Silver. And it was this 1841 Württemberg commemorative coin. Now, the hole in the top was definitely drilled, unfortunately. Somebody had turned this into a necklace. But there were not very many of these made. So that was a very, very lucky find for me. And next up, Wilhelmina Koning. From the Netherlands. And this was 1913. And I can't even remember the type of coin that this was. It's been a while. This was found fairly early in my hunts as well. But a very, very cool find. And all of these are roughly the size of a $50. And then we also have the U.S. commemoratives. Now, this is a clad coin. This is the Statue of Liberty. These are fairly common, but still rare to find in the wild. From 1986 with the Statue of Liberty, and those on Ellis Island. A nation of immigrants, United States of America. $50 commemorative. Again, that one is not silver. It is just a clad coin, but still a cool find regardless. And then my most recent really neat find that happened just... let's see, today is Tuesday. It was on Friday evening. We happened to find a 1938 Arkansas Centennial commemorative coin. And there were only roughly 3,600 of these minted ever. So this is a pretty cool find. In its current condition, this is probably close to a $100 coin. Somewhere in that range. It's got some really good detail, but the luster is gone on it. as far as, actually, it does still have a fair amount of luster still on the coin itself when I look at it there. It's just toned really deeply, which makes me feel a little bit better about the way that it would grade. So anyhow, that's part of why we hunt. And another big factor is just to be able to build the community, hang out with people that enjoy similar things that you do, create friendships, and explore the possibilities that come, much less the, let me get rid of this real quick, much less the rolls and rolls and rolls of silver that we have found while hunting. And if you haven't seen my great silver hunt, I will put a link up in the top of the description, or a card going across the top right now for you, where we found 393 silver coins in one night, which was an absolute blast of a time. I'll put the recap in there. So anyhow, for those of you that really question why we spend a lot of time going through these, this is the type of thing why. Because there's history involved here. It's not necessarily about making money. It's more about finding history, being able to show that to other people and to share that with other people, and to get to know other people and to learn. I have learned so much over the past 6 months in doing this. I never used to hunt for errors and varieties. And it's only been recently that I've really been dedicated to doing that. And that is what allowed me to find this 1971 DDO today. And it's a $10 to $20 coin. I haven't personally looked it up. Somebody was helping me with that during my live stream today. But those kinds of things happen. They're out there. These types of things happen. 3,600 minted ever. And according to PCGS, they estimate only about 2,700 still survive. 2,700 coins in the world, and I have one of them. So that's why we do it. That's the fun. None of this is going to make me rich. I'm not going to retire off of any of this. But I have history here. So if you get into something like this and people ask you, well, why do you waste your time hunting through boxes and boxes and boxes of $50? Let them know it's more than just finding the silver. Yes, the silver is great. Don't get me wrong. But this is really why. So thank you all so much for taking a look at this video. If you're not already part of the family member, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on that bell so that you can get notified when I put out new content or end up with a live stream. I would love to have you come join us for one of my live streams as we search through looking for this. You want to talk about fun when the chat goes wild when you find one of these. So, thanks again. I appreciate each and every one of you. You all have a wonderful evening and stay safe. Have a good evening.